Hello, this is Gavin.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm here to ask you for your help.
You know what? I would love to, but I just don't have the time.
And you ain't black.
Hello? Hello?
The plan I have is for black America. I look forward to seeing you in person.
Why would you do that?
You ain't black.
What the hell? Hey, listen,
And you ain't black.
What? Oh my God.
You got more questions?
What is your deal, huh? Stop, don't you dare hang up that fucking phone, okay?
Me or Trump?
What if I wanted to? What
You ain't black.
What? You motherfucker! Oh my God, you son of a bitch!
I want a larger share of the black vote than anybody
Fuck
has.
you, man! Fuck you! Well, I hope
You ain't black.
You know, you people can complain all you want. You can call me Bird Brain, Nasty Nikki, Neocon Nikki, Nimrod, Nimrata. You don't like that I'm for open borders and illegal immigration? That's fine. You don't like that I got filthy rich by selling my influence to the military-industrial complex? That's fine. You don't like that I want to start World War III anywhere, anytime, any way that I can? That's fine. You don't like that I want to raise the age for Social Security? That's fine. You don't like that I want to make people dox themselves to use the internet? That's fine. You don't like that I'm paid for by a Democrat who's been to Epstein's Island? That's fine. But let me remind you, this is America. Those globalist oligarchs you hate so much have a right to have their voices heard. If they want to pay someone to represent their interests, well, that's fine too. Sometimes the world needs a whore. And if you're asking me, that time is now. Hail Hydra.
I fucking knew it!
Vagina.
Good evening, cowards. Rick Hubbard, 97 Spruce Lane. Nice to see a bunch of fat, ugly women.
Oh,
What?
excuse you.
What?
Can we see the agenda?
No. They're fat, ugly women is what they are.
We're not having that.
Let's talk about it.
We're not having that.
I don't think the American people are racist. I think there's a history of racism, or Vice President Harris saying, no, I don't believe that America is racist, but there is a history and we're still living with racism that we have to deal with.
And there are plenty of racist people in this country.
And there are
Yeah,
absolutely
that's right.
racist people in this country. It is not the vast majority of people in this country, and I feel
We
like
don't know
we
that.
Well,
We don't know
the FBI
that.
director said white supremacy is
But
the
that
biggest
but that
threat
still
to our
doesn't-
country today.
Oh, the FBI director said white supremacy is the biggest threat facing our country. Would this be the same FBI that spied on, blackmailed, and in all likelihood killed MLK? Oh, but I'm sure they've got their act together and are totally telling the truth now.
Well, that still doesn't mean that that's the vast majority of people. I just don't believe that in my day-to-day life that the people that you're encountering harbor racist viewpoints. I do think that this division that
If
we're
you
creating...
look like me, you would believe
But
differently.
you know what? Listen, the woman...
Oh, fucking hell.
Just to understand, are we saying, do we think the vast majority of Americans are racist? That's what I'm trying to... help me understand.
I think that there is a significant portion that are racist, and you can't dismiss my lived experience.
And I never would
when
say.
I
would never
When
say.
I say that there are a lot of racists in this country,
Oh, I
just
agree, there's
experienced my son walking down the beach being called the N-word several times in Florida.
There is...
Yeah, probably by other black people. Well, what have we here? We have a guy doing his best to prevent Joey Skidmarks from falling down and breaking his demented-ass neck. And then we have a group of people on stage with the President of the United States of America who would rather just take selfies with themselves. That's not alarming at all.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
Then do
Available.
and homelessness and all that.
And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret zone at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume. I'm kind of retarded.
Lately, there's been a whole lot of internet scuttlebutt about Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, the bitch!
Fuck, this is the last thing I really want to talk about. But even a lot of average people are reaching the point where they can sense when something is needlessly being shoved down their throats and are now getting suspicious over shit like that for the first time ever. So now you've got a lot of people on the right saying that, oh, this is some kind of government psyop, and all the people on the left are laughing at them and saying, oh, wow, big tough conservative man losing their shit over this little girl. And to all those people out there that are crying psyop, I would just say,
Well, no shit.
have you ever heard that Otto von Bismarck quote, I never believe anything in politics until it has been officially denied? Well... But do you realize that by talking about it incessantly, you're actually feeding into the psyop? The really smart thing would be to just keep pushing these AI-generated images because they are hilarious, and they were obviously ruffling feathers. Some of the best ones are way too spicy to be shown here, but this is way more effective. Never underestimate the power of ridicule as a weapon. And this whole idea of dark forces within the entertainment industry working behind the scenes to push agendas and shape narratives and generally steer pop culture in a direction they want it to go is nothing new. You had Ice Cube recently talk about this in an interview with Bill Maher.
Same people who own the labels own the prisons.
Literally the same people?
Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. The records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Some records are made by committee, meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this. We're gonna have this guy write the lyrics. We're gonna have that. You have, the record company pushing the narrative. Some social engineering going on here to make sure those prisons stay full.
And then when you find out that this is during the same time period where elements of the CIA were involved in flooding the streets of South Central LA with crack cocaine, who do you think was really behind this record company push to glamorize the more criminal elements of hip-hop? Even before the CIA was formed in 1947, their predecessor, the OSS, was using early Hollywood celebrities that most of you wouldn't even recognize the names of as spies during World War I and World War II and putting out propaganda through Hollywood. What do you think, that all just magically went away?
Would you like to know more?
Yes!
This is a topic I've seen Jay Dyer of Jay's Analysis cover numerous times, going all the way back to the OSS and CIA's recruitment of Hollywood stars, to the infiltration of the hippie movement in the 60s, complete with naming the books that would be suggested reading for anyone looking to dive deeper into this topic. So if you do want to learn more, I would start there.
And that's all I have to say about that.
And in a couple other developments that I definitely did not have on my 2024 bingo card, of all of the completely anti-Trump people that could possibly have changed their tune, I never expected it to be Snoop Dogg. He even had that music video where he had Trump dressed up in a clown suit and he shot him. And now, oh, I got nothing but love for Donald Trump. He never did nothing to me, cuz. Shit like that makes you feel like you did a quantum leap into an alternate dimension. And out of all the Democrats there on Capitol Hill, who would be the one that you would least expect to all of a sudden start talking logically and making sense? And it's also been reported that his marriage to that hot little spinner is falling apart.
Oh shit, man, I'm gonna scorch my shorts.
They were saying it was over his support for Israel, but the fact that he's lately been talking about how, yeah, we do have a crisis at the border, I don't know why it's so controversial to say that, and talking about needing to shut down all the illegal crossings, I'm thinking that might have had something to do with it. But when you look at a picture of these two together, it's like, Jesus, how the hell did that happen? And like I said, he's the absolute last one I would have expected to suddenly come down with a case of logic and sanity. There's also this weird-ass story about the kid beheading his own dad in Pennsylvania. In the suburbs of Philadelphia, a kid proclaiming to be the leader of a nationwide militia put out a YouTube video holding up his dad's severed head in a plastic bag. Allegedly! Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of shit about this story that just don't make sense. It's a little on the nose. And in the video, he said, "This is the head of Mike Moen, a federal employee of over 20 years and my father. He is now in hell for eternity as a traitor to his country." It is said those who commit treason and betray others occupy the lowest pits of hell for all time. The federal government of America has declared war on America's citizens and the American states. America is rotting from the inside out as our far-left woke mobs rampage our once prosperous cities, turning them into lawless zones. The video, which was titled "Call to Arms for American Patriots," was up for 6 hours and then got taken down, and the kid claims he's the commander of a nationwide militia. But apparently he had been going on 4chan and Discord message boards and trying to recruit people from militia groups, and they were like, yeah, nah, we're not into all that crazy shit. Some of them even reporting this kid to the FBI, and what do you know, they did nothing.
No shit.
Or did they? Like I said, this is just fucking weird, and when you look at a picture of this kid, yeah, that looks like the militia right there. There's a right-wing extremist if I ever saw one. Let me guess, was this kid hearing voices and already being seen psychiatrically? Because this is kinda perfect timing, what with the government currently trying to pass a bill to curtail militias. Yes, the Preventing Private Paramilitary Activity Act of 2024. What a perfect time for some crazy little shit and self-professed militia leader to do something really nuts. But the thing about this story that to me makes the least amount of sense is why the news isn't pushing this incessantly. I mean, here you have a perpetrator that's exactly the right demographic, committing a crime that would seemingly only help further the political agenda that's being currently pushed by the left, and yet it's gotten little to no coverage on the nationwide news channels. It just doesn't make much sense, does it? And something else that's gotten basically no coverage. I only heard about this because my cousin said something to me about it, thank you for that. The US government has recently sold off the strategic reserve of helium. And if you do a Google search, you have all these articles popping up, and some of them just say that the reserves were sold off to a private buyer. Some of them actually mention who it is, a company called the Messer Group, a German company owned by a guy called Stefan Messer. And they all seem to mention that, ooh, this might be a problem because helium is needed for MRIs. But do you know what else it's needed for? Nuclear reactors and power plants. I didn't see a single article even bringing that fact up. They all mention that helium is a very finite resource and, ooh, the medical world is worried, but none of them want to mention the fact that it's a critical component for nuclear power generation. As if I needed another reason to be against nuclear power. Got all these people lately trying to lump nuclear power in with the green energy. Well, if you mean glowing green radioactive, then yeah. Anytime there's some kind of problem with one of these reactors, they can't even fix it. Just look at Chernobyl. You had 30 years between the fall of the Soviet Union and the start of the Russia-Ukraine war, and in that 30 years, the only thing they could do to fix that reactor was nothing. They put a big-ass metal dome sarcophagus on it, and when that started falling apart from the radiation, they put a bigger, stronger dome on top of it. Not to mention we're going on 13 years since the Fukushima meltdown, and they can't fix that one either. The best they could do is stabilize it, keep it from melting down further by constantly cycling in new seawater and flushing the radioactive seawater out into the Pacific Ocean. So I would say until they come up with a way of fixing nuclear disasters when they happen, they need to shut the fuck up about it being a clean, green form of energy. And finally, it's now been 8 days since a drone attack on US soldiers in what we claim to be Jordan. Funny thing is, a Jordanian minister of whatever the fuck came out on their state TV channel and said that it was actually in Syria where the US base was hit. And they're also saying that this drone was accidentally mistaken for one of our own drones. Maybe it's just me, but that seems pretty fucking weird. Now, what am I saying, that this was some kind of self-inflicted wound, or an attack that was allowed to happen in order to justify our ramping up the war?
No. Yes. But no. But yes.
I really don't put anything past these people at this point. I'm just saying it looks a little fucking suspicious to me. And now, over the weekend, the US started retaliating with airstrikes in Iraq and Syria and Yemen, and I don't think anybody really believes that this is gonna somehow manage to de-escalate the situation. I had been figuring that they were gonna let things get really crazy later on in the year, like late summer, after the conventions, but before the election. But wars tend to have a life of their own and take on their own timeline, even if you're the one instigating it. Things can develop very slowly, and then everything happens all at once before you even realize it. And I'm starting to see a large-scale attack on our power grid as being all but inevitable. A lot of very serious people believe that Iran already has the people in place, and it's just a matter of the word coming down. Hopefully it does happen later rather than sooner, but I'm starting to think that shit could start getting weird any day now. Slancha.
All I have in this world is my thoughts and my word, and I don't break them for no one. You understand? So say good night. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night. So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. Come on. Don't stupid! You stupid fuck! Look at you now! Look at you now!